I'm about to really nerd out on you, and I'm about to talk way over my head a little bit here, but when we talk about the big picture of life, I think this is at least worth mentioning. So let's talk about it. There's a scientific reality that scientists know practically nothing about. Consciousness. We don't understand it. I'm not talking about the difference between being awake and asleep. I'm talking about a human's ability to know and understand who they are and why they exist. It's the ability to have a creative idea or be intentionally creative. Without consciousness, none of this exists, and it's the biggest problem that pure evolutionists have. We can try to explain how the biology of the body works, but where did our consciousness come from? How is it that we can experience joy and pain? How is it that we can dream and sacrifice for love? These things are more than just hallucinations. This is a conversation that is happening in technology right now quite a bit. There's a debate about what qualifies something as artificial intelligence, AI. We know that we can teach a computer to learn so much stuff that it can interact with humans in an actual helpful way. But can a computer become conscious? I personally think that will never happen. I watched the movie Chappie a while ago, and it got me intrigued by the potential of humans to transfer their consciousness to robots. That's probably slightly more likely, but that's a total different conversation than creating consciousness. It's like when we start talking about cloning people. Cloning someone is not creating someone. Cloning someone is transferring what has already been created to a different location. We can make computers smarter and smarter, but you don't have to be smart to suffer emotional pain. But you do have to be conscious. So the conversation of artificial intelligence is even a different conversation than creating consciousness. Consciousness is different than life because many organisms have life without having consciousness. And it's different than the soul because some organisms have consciousness without having souls. Using the electrical pulses that are sent from our eyes, our ears, and the rest of our bodies, our brains are constantly making guesses about what's going on around us in the world. Our brains get really good at this really fast, and usually our brains are right. But sometimes they're wrong. For example, Anil Seth uses the picture to show that our brains can actually guess wrong about what we're seeing. You've probably seen this picture before. It looks like square A and square B are different colors, but in reality, they are the same color. It's an optical illusion. Illusionists use illusion to trick our brains all of the time. But does our brain's activity constitute all there is involved in consciousness? So sometimes scientists argue that our brain's guesses about the world can be described as consciousness. But a computer can make guesses too, but it doesn't have the ability to feel, or to believe, or to dream. If you can't dream, you're not conscious. Why am I talking about all this? There are things that God gave us the ability to create, and there are things that He didn't. There are things about us that are beyond human ability to understand and create. So stop here and answer the first 4 questions and then push play. Before we go any further, I want to point out a major problem in the way theologians of the past have explained God. And so far in this video, I've come dangerously close to that line of reasoning myself. It used to be that we argued for the existence of God using examples of things that we can't understand. If there was something that humans didn't understand, we said, see, there must be a God because we can't understand that. The problem with that way of explaining God is it makes God smaller and smaller as we understand more and more. The list of things that we can't understand is getting very small, but God isn't. That line of reasoning also makes Christians fear science. We don't want science to progress because we're worried we'll lose our best arguments for why we need God. I don't believe in God because of what I can't understand. I believe in God because of what I can understand. It's logical. Psalms 34:8 says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good." God is tangible, knowable. He's even relatable. So when I say that technology will never be able to solve the problem of sin, when I say that science will never be able to create a consciousness, and when I say that the soul will always be beyond our understanding, I'm saying that because of who I believe God is, not because of what we don't currently understand. I believe God is the creator of all, and I believe he is greater than I am. Therefore, I believe that there are things that God can do that man cannot, because man was created by God. I believe that a creation proves a creator. So answer the last two questions, and then I'll see you Sunday in church.